Welcome everybody to Hey Kentucky. Now rather than a regular episode, tonight I thought we'd try something a little different. I've been back here in the archives. This says Cutler Sports File. It's from 1987. There's a lot of stuff here, including the year this WLEX station started, which was 1955. And when I went through these old tapes, I realized they had some interesting shows, some of which are very similar to what we do now. So here's an episode we found, a lost episode of 1955's Hey Kentucky. We thought we'd show it for you tonight. Check it out.
Good evening, Lexington, and welcome from the Jif Peanut Butter Theater in the WLEX television studios to another lively episode of Hey Kentucky on this 23rd day of May, 1955. And now, please say hello to your hosts, Harper Jones and Slick Cruz. Take it away, fellas.
Thank you, Martin. Welcome. Our first topic, the primary race for governor is beginning to heat up. Dixiecrat A.B. Happy Chandler facing off against my man, Bert T. Combs. Combs has suggested that a statewide sales tax should be considered, and Happy's fired back that an experienced governor would not need to raise taxes at all. Slick, there's mudslinging. The state is divided, snarky, back and forth. What's your take?
Well, I'm going to be like Pappy and vote for Happy. That's what we're going to do. And besides, your guy, all he wants to do is impose taxes. He wants to institute some new roads program.
He wants a new road to the mountains. The mountains are our future. If there's one thing we know, economic development in this state will be in the mountains. And he wants a road that takes us right there. That's why I like him. He's a future thinker.
He calls it the Parkway. The Mountain Parkway starts out of Winchester. Nothing starts out of Winchester. Only things go there to die, not
If they
begin.
can make a parkway, they need to name it after him because it's his idea and it's a good one. Let me tell you something else he wants to do. He's tired of our old economy, realizes the future is coal. It's not tobacco, it's coal. That's where it is.
Yeah, he also wants to put a tax on tobacco. Let me ask you a question there, Harper. Why would anybody want to impose something that's a God-given right for every man, woman, and child to smoke and light one when they feel like it?
I'm totally with you on that. That's one thing I disagree with Bert. I'll tell you, have you heard about it, UK? There's a big development. You know, Rupp is a happy man. But Bear Bryant, he likes my guy Bert T. Combs. I'm thinking it might end up splitting the relationship. They may have to send Rupp packing after Bert wins. Bear Bryant will be the coach that survives.
I'll bet you a Cadillac to a stopwatch that my guy beats you.
Oh, that's absolutely ridiculous. You're absolutely insane. I will say this. Here's one thing we can be happy about. We know it's going to be a Democrat because I'll say this to you right now. A Republican won't be elected in the state of Kentucky in my lifetime. The Republicans have no chance here. They won't have any chance in the future. That you can agree with.
Republican or a woman.
That's exactly right. Well, they have their place, and it's not actually being in government. Let me say this. What's your prediction? Who wins?
Well, I'm going to pick Happy as long as he stops singing at My Old Kentucky Home. Every time somebody has a barbecue, a bean soup dinner, whatever, please stop.
Everywhere he goes, just have My Old Kentucky Home. Look, Happy, we get it. You can sing. Focus on the issues. Next thing you know, he's going to want to sing at the end of basketball games, like on senior day or something like that. It's absolutely ridiculous. Bert T. Combs is going to win. Happy, your time's over. In other news, construction work continues on a Lexington bypass road, which will, when completely finished, circle the entirety of the city of Lexington. This absolutely stupid idea called New Circle Road is not expected to be finished until the mid-1960s. The design comes over the objections of one of my guys, renegade business magnate William T. Young. He said, why not have a road that's a rhombus, a trapezoid, or a diamond? Slick, I agree with William T. Young. Circles are boring. Plus, why do we need this road?
Well, I don't know. The expansion's too big for my taste. They want to go to 4 lanes. We've got like 400 cars here in Lexington. What in the possibility of realm of
I know like 3 people with cars.
400 cars.
You don't need a 4-lane. There's never going to be any traffic on that stupid road anyway. Nobody goes out there.
Well, it goes all the way through Nicholasville Road. There's nothing out there. There will be.
Yeah, nobody lives in Nicholasville. The other thing is all the shopping is downtown. You know that. If you want to buy something, if I want to buy a suit, I go downtown. If I
want these trousers.
That's exactly right. If I want a new radio, where do I go? Barney Miller's. There's no reason to go out in the sticks.
I go to P-Rats myself.
To buy things. That's actually an even better idea. Now, here's what I'll tell you. If you put one circle, the next thing you know, every road's going to be circled. They're going to add a road farther and farther. And what will end up happening, there'll be a road out there, they'll name it after a stupid horse. That's what they'll do.
You know, here's the thing. If you're going to burn gas, you want to go one direction, as you said. I want to head downtown. Think of this. as we age and get older, people could get confused.
That's right.
And just continue in some sort of circumference.
You know, I just thought of something Bob Hope said. And you know what he said? There's absolutely no reason to drive in a circle. He said it on one of his military specials. Here's what I hope the leaders of Lexington will end up doing. Figure out new, inventive ways. Maybe make like a place downtown where everybody can shop, like a market. It could be like a big festival, Lee. Have you ever thought about that? That's the kind of thing that'll work in the future.
That would be huge.
It would be massive. A big festival market right downtown. That's what they ought to do.
Great idea.
Now, the construction of a new department store in Lexington has left our city with a huge eyesore. If you haven't seen it, it's a large hole in the ground that's only sparsely filled with construction equipment. It looks absolutely terrible. Now, they say it's going to be fixed soon. I hope that's right, because I can't imagine having a hole in the middle of our town.
Let me tell you something. It's been almost 3 or 4 weeks.
It has.
And I've never seen the city more angry. If this isn't fixed in the next couple of weeks, I don't know what's going to happen.
That's exactly right. There are people, the mayor says it might be 1 to 2 months. I'll tell you, a city that has a massive hole in its downtown for 1 to 2 months, that's a city that'll have an uprising. They would never let it.
Well, they had some delays, too, because I was talking to the foreman of the construction crew, and he said we were doing pretty well until these little 2 Webb brothers kept filling it in.
I want to say, old man Webb, get your boys. It's hard. It's impossible to fill it in if the Webb brothers are just going to sit there and run around and play in it all the time. The question for me is, what do they put in the hole? I've read some talk that they're planning a building in this town that's big, blue, and it just goes straight up in the air. Some people call it phallic. I don't know if we can use that word on television. You don't want one of those things in the middle of the city that you can see, you know, from all the way down in Versailles.
I don't know. I'm going to go home and look it up.
Look up phallic, all right? It's in the dictionary. You may not know what that word means. But I'm just telling you, watch it. Fill in the hole. I guarantee you this, it won't happen again in this city. There's no way the outrage we see right now, there'll never be another hole in this city.
Absolutely right.
That's one thing I can guarantee. Moving on to national news. With communism on the rise, attempting to spread across Europe and onto our own soil, President Dwight D. Eisenhower, now that's a man right there. He'll be attending the Geneva Summit.
I like Ike.
I do too. The president will join British Prime Minister Anthony Eden, along with the Prime Minister of France and the Soviet Premier. The summit will reportedly feature discussions of trade barriers, arms negotiations, and even nuclear warfare, God forbid. The question remains, however, and I don't know about this, can we trust these Russians? These Russians, they're always trying to get into stuff. Can we trust them?
Harper, no, we cannot trust the Russians. And at least Eisenhower knows how to keep his mouth shut. Unlike Truman, who went and told in a meeting our best-kept secrets about the Manhattan Project to Joseph Stalin. Right there. We've got sources that tell us he told him about it, for crying out loud. Eisenhower knows what it means to be a commander.
You know what worries me? I think some of our neighbors, some folks here in the Lexington area, maybe across the country, might be commies, and I'm skeptical of them. I'd like to see there be a group that looks into it, that tries to find out, are there any commies? Maybe even some in Hollywood. You know, they keep making all these movies out there. I can see some subliminal messages. Somebody needs to be looking into it. I've heard of a young senator I'm liking. His name is McCarthy. He's old man McCarthy's boy. You ought to look into
Joe, I know Joe. Yeah, as a matter of fact, first place I'd look is over in the Louisville area.
That's right.
Why did they choose red as their color?
I think it's a very good question. Yes.
Commies, that's why.
That's exactly right. Here's what I'm really worried about, Slick. What if they try to get involved in our elections? I know it's like a ridiculous idea that they could do it, but they got this, you know, the telegraph. And a lot of times the two parties, they talk to each other via this telegraph. What if they come in and they break into it, I don't know, like they hack or hack into it or something, and they start figuring out our communications, then they might get involved in our elections. What happens then?
Well, listen, isn't it ironic that we already have something called a party line? You know, when I'll pick up the thing, I hear other people listening. How do I know they're not commies?
That's exactly right. You're into that all the time.
It's usually my mother-in-law.
You usually do that late at night, don't you? You call that party line?
Oh, yeah. Well, I've called the party line.
I know you have. Yeah. I have tapes. Speaking of tapes, I bet they have an Eisenhower tape.
Well, they probably do.
They probably do. He visited Moscow, you remember. British scientists have devised a new supercomputer called the Deuce. They say this new computer, which is an acronym that stands for Digital Electric Universal Computing Engine, is the future. It's a space-aged computer that weighs as little as just over a ton, and it only takes up 92 square feet of floor space. Slick, isn't it amazing how far these so-called computers have come?
I was just amazed the other day. We got a brand new rotary phone. No longer do I just talk and say to the operator, I want to try to reach Harper.
Sarah's not going to be able to get as much work, though, now,
I don't
because
talk
you
to
can
Sarah.
do it yourself.
Actually, do it myself like that. It's real easy.
My hope is that one day we in Lexington can get our own computer. Can you imagine if this city had a computer, what the future could look like?
Well, they're getting smaller every single year. It seems like now we can put one inside just one room.
That's exactly right. Here's what I wonder. Do you really need a computer? I mean, I got a library card. Every single thing I need is at the library. I go in there, I show them my card. I've got a world of information. They're telling me I'm going to get information off of a machine. I'm not going to do that. I use my machines only to wash my clothes.
All I need is a Dewey Decimal System and my librarian, John Google. He's a great guy.
He is a good guy. I heard somebody say that there might be a day when you can get these these nudie pictures on them.
What?
Now, for me, I like nudie magazines. I know you do as well. The idea that I would look at it on a device, I don't believe it.
I beg your pardon, sir. I'm married.
So you don't look.
The last thing I want to see is a naked woman.
That's exactly right. Well, I don't think it's been a long time since you've seen one, has it? That's exactly right. Now, when we're going to come back, there's still much more to come on Hey Kentucky, including sports and weather reports from our man Martin Tomlin, and a fun game created with index cards, hip or square. That's next here on Hey Kentucky. To Hey Kentucky. There was a big basketball game this weekend, and here with all the action is our own Martin Tomlin. Martin?
Say, boys, the University of Kentucky Wildcats took on the University of Idaho in state-of-the-art Memorial Coliseum on Saturday, where they won by a whopping score of 91-45. And because the Wildcats broke 90 points, everyone in attendance got to go home with a pack of filtered Pall Mall cigarettes. Way to go, Wildcats! Bob Burrow netted 19 points for the Cats, and Vernon Hatton went 8 for 12 from the field. These Cats are really ready to rock and roll, and I mean that as a colloquialism of their intensity on the court and not as an advocacy of the filthy music ruining our children. In other news, scuttlebutt from campus hits that freshman Harold Ross may forego his remaining college years to turn professional and join the armed forces, which would leave him with 1 year of basketball and then he'd be done. Boy, I sure hope this trend doesn't catch on. That probably wouldn't be good. In other news, Cotton Nash is trying to decide whether to come back for another year of basketball or follow his father's demands that he follow in the footsteps at the Union Pacific Railroad. Fans are starting to get upset. We cannot keep losing these guys to the railroad. Finally, we received a letter from a young man which reads, Dear Harper, I sure do love Kentucky. I love writing about and talking about sports, and I hope to someday do it on television. Let's bring him on. Hello there, young man. What's your name?
My name's Alan Cutler, but my friends call me Bubs.
Well, I think it's just aces that you want to be a sports reporter, Alan. You hang in there, and someday maybe you can be on television talking about basketball, too. Thank you for your letter. Now you can go back to chasing your friend Billy over there. Nice boots. Back to you, fellas.
Thanks, Martin. Hang in there, Alan. There's a future for you. Still ahead on Hey Kentucky, a fun game of hip or square. Don't go away.
What's the best way to reduce? Eat what you want or starve yourself. Starve yourself? Wrong. A half-empty stomach causes hunger tantrums. Now, you can avoid hunger tantrums and lose weight naturally and fast. With the RDX full stomach reducing plan, you feel your stomach and fat just seems to melt away. A safe, pleasant tasting RDX tablet contains no dangerous drugs, no hormones, so if you want to eat and lose fat, get RDX at your drugstore today. Side effects RDX include hallucinations, blue urination, popping stomach sound, foot cramps, night terrors, angina, clubfoot, swamp eye, painful burping, cotton mouth, random outbursts, jake leg, clotting, blindness, and hunger tantrums. RDX also includes nitrate, so please refrain from taking under flammable conditions.
And now it's time for the game that's sweeping the nation, hip or square.
Hey Kentucky, welcome back. It is time for a game of hip or square. We have help today from Veronica Fontaine. You know, Lee, she's the new Miss Red Mile.
Oh, love that place. Brand new facility. They'll never have to do that one again.
Harness racing, it's the future. Veronica, what's up first?
Hi, the Coca-Cola Company has announced it's going to start putting its delicious soda product in cans instead of bottles. Is Coca-Cola in cans hip or square?
It's hip. I don't like carrying those bottles everywhere. They're heavy. They get in my way. I have to say I like it. It's a new change, Coca-Cola. There's a new rival on the market for them, this Pepsi brand. I think this is the way they stay ahead. Coca-Cola in bottles.
What are you, nuts? Cans? What are we, having war rations again? We've already won the thing. Why would I want to put it in something I carry my green beans or I spit into?
You do.
Cans.
Listen, I actually like these new ideas. You're always against them all the time.
Let me ask you this, Hoss. How do you open it? You going to
don't know.
carry a can opener
I
with
guess you have to carry a can opener. I hadn't thought of that. Very good point. What's next?
Franchise entrepreneur Ray Kroc has opened his first McDonald's in Illinois, featuring fast food and free parking with speedy service and 15-cent hamburgers. Is this idea hip or square?
It's hip to me. I like the idea that whatever town I go into, Lee, I can have the exact same meal. Why in the world would I want to vary what I eat based on where I am? I can get a hamburger, I can get food, and I know exactly what it is. I like the same, no change.
No, thank you. America was made on mystery meat. Half the time we didn't know what we was eating when we went west. Why do we want something standardized like that? I like to know, are we going to survive this meal or not? That makes life fun.
I think we do know this. This will probably be the only one of these that succeeds, however. I think people like to sit down. Nobody's in a hurry. Nobody wants to eat out of their car.
That's
I think
true.
these come and go. Ray Kroc, good luck, but I think you're fighting an uphill battle. What's next?
More and more women this summer are donning bathing suits that come in two pieces, show off ladies' delicate stomach. Is this new look hip or square?
Well, it's very hip for me. Once I got my library card and we're able to see those nudie magazines, this is the kind of thing you want to look at. Now, it's a little scandalous, I'll grant you, but if you look at this, I don't think it's going to get any worse than that. I think these, what they call bikinis, will stay like this. I like it. It sort of gets me going.
Well, what? You're a pervert. That's all I can say for you, my friend. What I want to know is, what's next? Are we just going to be naked? They're going to have some kind of device that just runs right up through the butt crack? Come on. Let's cover up. If I see more, besides you, doll, you're fantastic. But if I see more than an ankle, I get a little perspiring myself because I think that's too much.
There's parts of the world where you can't show anything. I'm for it.
Leave something to the imagination.
You get something to the imagination because none of them want to show you. This is your best chance to have something positive happen. I like it. Keep the bikini. Let's go for it. What's next?
I fancy it as well, but a new movie called 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is making big money in theaters. Is this science fiction thriller hip or square?
I saw you smile when she said she fancies it. I saw the way you sort of, I understand. Watch out.
I'm starting to get used to this idea of dames in the workplace.
That's right. Miss Redmile knows what she's talking. I like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. This idea of special effects, it's a new thing in movies. I think they're very good. In my opinion, though, this is as far as it's going to go. This is absolutely revolutionary technology. I like 20,000 Leagues.
Let me tell you something. Hollywood is out of ideas.
Yes, they are.
They can't come up with anything new. They've done made the 10 Commandments again by the same director, Cecil B. DeMille, as we say in Winchester, Cecil. They have made the same movie twice. We keep seeing retreads of the same thing.
I totally agree. When's Gone with the Wind sequel coming out? We've been hearing about it forever. I don't think it's ever coming. Either way, check out 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. You'll like it.
Who wants to watch a movie about reconstruction?
We'll go Saturday. We can find the news at the beginning before so we know what's happening in Korea. Thank you very much, Veronica. We appreciate it. Now let's check back in with Martin Tomlin. He's got an update on our weather. Martin.
Thanks, boys. Gonna be a real nice night for making time with your best gal tonight. Real nice and crisp out there. Then look for a big change as a doozy of a cold front moves across the country tomorrow, which I like to call global cooling. So get out your hats and gloves. Boy, I bet it would really be something to see what this looks like from space. I guess we'll never know. As always, this weather report is brought to you by P-Rats. Stop into P-Rats today for a new radio, purchase a new washing machine for the missus, or dazzle the family in your own living room with a gigantic brand new 17-inch screen from Zenith. That's P-Rats, the gentleman's appliance store.
Welcome back to Hey Kentucky. It is time for the Tuesday wrap-up. Slick, we were in the newsroom. Oh, here we go.
Oh, is it that air raid? Where's my gat?
All right, well, listen, it's time to duck and cover. Ladies and gentlemen, the clock's over. We'll see you later. Thanks for joining us. It's been Hey Kentucky.
I'll take Veronica to the bottom. Now, let's go this way, Veronica. It's safer over here.